We welcome you to Countryside Community United Church of Christ. We're glad you are here for this service led entirely by us, students. Please take a moment to stand as you are able and welcome someone else to this service.
Good morning. Here are some announcements for this week. Please pass the pew registries down your pew for all to sign and then send it back down the pew so you can get to the names of people you are worshiping with this morning. Also, please wear your name tag from our new magnet board and put it in the basket after the service. Center for Faith Studies kicks off their 2018-2019 lecture series this Tuesday, August 7th at 7 o'clock p.m. with Kimberly Kronick, who will speak to her life as a U.S. diplomat in several countries who speak different languages and have completely different cultures than she had growing up in America. Come and hear how she uses her experience now to train foreign affairs professionals to navigate cultural barriers as they engage with many different nationalities and cultures. Our Tri-Faith Picnic is Sunday, August 12th at 12:30 at Temple Israel. If you would like to help out, you can go to the Sign Up Genius website and fill in the spots you wish to help with, or leave a name and email at the information station. All Church Read. Our next worship series beginning on September 9th is called Bridging Our Divides, with Why Liberals and Conservatives Need Each Other. And the series is based on a book by Jonathan Haddock called The Religious Mind. We are encouraging people to read this book as an additional resource for the upcoming series, are hoping to start some new small groups around the discussion. If you would like to learn more about this, please contact Reverend Dr. Chris Alexander, or leave your contact information at the information station and she will contact you. Mark your calendar. Family Celebration Sunday is September 9th from 12:30 to 2:30 at Elmwood Park Pavilion. Please stand as you are able to sing.
This week we are going to take a moment to reflect on the beauty and creativity of God found in the places we students visited this summer, and in so doing, we express our gratefulness to God. Creator God, your creation is holy, sacred, and humbling. It is at the same time spectacular and scary. May we always and every day be grateful for the splendors of your creation. May we feel your love through the appreciation of our surroundings and the special places that we will always remember. May we be good stewards with what you have entrusted us. Amen.
Okay, young friends, you can stay with your families today because we are going to use our children's moment to honor a couple of staff members who are going to come up here. These are our nursery care workers. I'm sure everything in there is fine. No, I'm kidding. We got grown-ups to cover. Woo! Rachel and Bailey are our two nursery staff workers. In addition to spending time every Sunday morning, Wednesday evening, and for special events, taking care of our youngest church members with love, care, and compassion. In addition to that, they take advantage of that opportunity to share our faith with our youngest friends and do different activities like today. They're making peacemaker soup, which connects to one of our stories from VBS of Ruth, Boaz, and Naomi. So let us show them some love and appreciation and cards. Yay!
We know love by this, that he laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for one another. How does God's love abide in anyone who has the world's goods and sees a brother or sister in need and yet refuses help? Little children, let us love, not in word or speech, but in truth and action.
Land where many My name is Katrina Stanek, and this year I'll be a senior. I went on both mission trip and tour. So this year I felt the love of God through COYO and Faith Singers stronger than it's ever been before for me. And both these trips have really provided me with many different yet fulfilling opportunities, and I'm so grateful to have the experience. I'll start with mission trip because I went on that first. So we went to New Jersey to help rebuild houses through SBP, or St. Bernard Project. And it was really empowering just to be able to work on the homes and, see the homeowners' faces, because many of these homeowners haven't been able to live in their homes for 7 years, and they're paying rent and their mortgage and stuff, and they have to live in like trailers in their driveway or in their backyard or something. So to be able to work on these houses and kind of instill that hope for them is really powerful. And it really meant a lot for me, and it made the work worth it. Moving on to tour, we grew a lot closer on tour, and I really don't think it's because, we were forced to like sit in a bus right next to each other for long periods of time and like hang out with each other or whatever, but because we sang together. And I really feel like when you sing together with a group or with someone else, you really grow closer with them. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to, share that experience and spread God's word through more ways than just work, through song as well. So we went and visited many different natural places, like national parks, because our tour was kind of based around nature this year, and we visited the Grand Canyon. And when we were going there, I thought, oh, it's gonna be like kind of cool. I guess I like nature and stuff, but I wasn't expecting to be like absolutely blown away by it. But I was blown away by the Grand Canyon and its vastness. It was so huge, and the colors were so vibrant, and it was just beautiful. And I couldn't see the entirety of the Grand Canyon just looking forward. Like, I had to turn my head and look all the way down that way and all the way down this way in order to really get the full picture. And while we were there, it was the start of monsoon season, so there was this huge thunderstorm that rolled in, and slowly the canyon started fading from view before it even started raining on us. And it got to the point where you couldn't see like 10 feet in front of you, and the whole canyon was just like masked by this giant fog. And then it started raining where we were, so we ran to this like little station, a building or something, to take shelter, and it had this giant window that we could look out and see the canyon, but it was completely covered with fog, so you couldn't see anything, and it was just like gray. And as we were looking out the window, lightning struck, and the whole entire canyon was just illuminated for that split second, and then the thunder rolled in, and it echoed off the walls, and it was just magnificent. And so I thought to myself, I need to go outside and really experience this in person and in the flesh. And so I went outside into the rain, and Melise and Jackson were there already, soaked. And I went and stood next to them, and we just sat there together. And it was so cool to hear the rain like hitting off the rocks and off of our jackets and stuff. And lightning would strike, and the canyon would just glow for a second, and then the thunder would rumble, and it felt like the earth beneath us was like shaking. It was just so powerful. And both these trips have really shown me God's love in diverse ways, and because of that, I'm really grateful to be a part of COYO and Faith Singers.
Hi, my name is Isaac Bonner, and I'm also going to be a senior this upcoming fall. And this summer, I had the privilege of going on the Faith Singers tour. I didn't go on mission trip, but I did go on tour. And during my 9 days of traveling through the Southwest, I was able to have many fantastic experiences and create numerous valuable memories with some of my closest friends. Along our trip, Tyler challenged us to look for holy surprises or moments where we saw or felt God, either in nature or in experiences with people. And first, throughout my many experiences with people, I saw God in many ways and many times, but most importantly, during our time at nursing homes, and just being able to connect with these people who they don't have anybody to talk to. They're just by themselves living in the nursing homes. They don't get many visitors, and to see the joy on their faces when this group of young people comes in to just have a conversation and sing to them, it's unlike anything else. And also, I enjoyed talking and making connections with people in the congregations in Salt Lake City, in Laramie, Wyoming, and then Grand Island. And these relationships were formed by just a few minutes of conversation, but they were some of my favorite moments on the whole trip. And personally, I just think it's really cool how much you can get to know somebody who's a complete stranger just by talking to them for a few minutes and just sharing your stories with them. And moving on to nature, I saw God in nature through our many experiences at national parks and landmarks, says Grand Canyon, obviously, and then Sandia Peak in Albuquerque, which is this like 10,000 foot peak where you have to ride a tram to get up there. And once you get up there, you're on the top of this peak and you just look down into the valley and you can see the whole city of Albuquerque just laid out in front of you. And you can see like the airport and like just trees down below, and the big rocks that they were explaining to us were like 3 stories high, and they just looked like these little rocks to us in the tram. And then going to the Garden of the Gods in Colorado Springs, looking through the little hole in one of the rocks, and you can see all of Pikes Peak and the orange rocks with the sunset in the back and the green trees it's truly amazing, and the pictures don't do any of it justice. But visiting these gorgeous places helped me to see the beauty in God's creation and just how lucky we are to live on this beautiful planet Earth.
Hi, I'm Kaylee Parmentier, and I'm going to be a senior as well. So I was able to go on both trips, mission and tour. So my mission trip, this one by far was probably my favorite one because I went with a bunch of amazing people. Even though we were small, we were mighty. So we felt very loved by everyone we were with, the members of AmeriCorps and the chaperones and all the students we were with. And it felt good to help these families get back to their homes after 7 years, maybe even more than that by now. And so it just felt good to know that we can help them get in their homes much faster than if we weren't there to volunteer with them. And it was a really moving experience because at the end of that week, we were able to go home to our own homes, that we had a home and a bed to sleep in of our own. And then when I was talking to Chris, one of the AmeriCorps members, he said that the big house that we worked in last year, that they finally had their welcome home party, and that they said that everyone that worked on their house was like family to them. And so that made me feel very, very good that I got them to move in their house faster. And then on to tour. So during tour, we were able to see all of God's creation. The Grand Canyon was beyond beautiful than I would have ever imagined. This tour, I felt the most closest to the Faith Singers by far. I was able to see Isaac cry for the first time. That was really exciting, but also sad at the same time. But it was so cool during closing circle that when everyone was feeling some emotion or when they were speaking and you could see him kind of start to cry, that everyone would go over and sit with them. So when we saw Isaac tear up, all of us ran over to him and was like, "It's okay, it's okay." And so that was really cool to have everyone in a in a big circle, then just kind of really get everyone's love and acceptance. So we had a lot of ups and downs, and I was very thankful for all the chaperones to be there for me when we had a very tough time. So thank you guys for that. I appreciate it a lot. And yeah, so I'm very sad I have one more year left, and so I'm just excited to see what next year holds, and I love COYO and Faith Singers.
This is my prayer in my hunger and need. My God is Las Vegas, we get to have Kaylee sing a solo her senior year. Agreed?
Agreed.
And I'll sing 5 solos senior year. Is it still going? Anyone else want to make this bet? Anyone else? I don't trust you. I'll sing a solo every Sunday.
I'll sing a solo as well.
I'll sing a solo every Sunday. I can pick it. All right, anyone else?
If we go to Las Vegas, right, guys? Yes.
Yeah. Woo, Vegas, baby. Can I get it ready? Ed?
No,
Vegas,
okay,
baby!
if we go
Stop
to
it.
Las Vegas.
May the glory of the Lord endure forever. May the Lord rejoice in his works, who looks on the earth and it trembles, who touches the mountains and they smoke. I will sing to the Lord as long as I live. I will sing praise to my God while I have being. May my meditation be pleasing to him, for I rejoice in the Lord.
Ordinary
Your steadfast love, O Lord, extends to the heavens, your faithfulness to the clouds. Your righteousness is like the mighty mountains. Your judgments are like the great deep. You save humans and animals alike, O Lord. How precious is your steadfast love, O God. All people may take refuge in the shadow of your wings.
Hi, I'm Liz, and a few weeks ago, 16 of us went hiking through the mountains in Colorado. One of my favorite experiences on this trip was the third day. This day was challenging. We hiked through the rain, but once we made it to our campsites, it was all worth it. We camped in this giant open valley with huge rocks surrounding us. A group of boys climbed up on the rocks and threw frisbees at us. We had a great time playing frisbee. After dinner, 2 moose came right up to our campsite. That was a little scary, but it was great. At the end of this day, I felt like we weren't tiny groups of people together. I felt like we were one big group of friends.
Hi, I'm Emily, and the thing is, I wasn't very involved with Countryside Church, but a couple months ago, my friend Liz actually invited me to go hiking through the mountains of Colorado. And it sounded amazing, and my favorite experience was the second day. We were at the very end of the hike, and it was me, Liz, and Ethan, and we were way behind everybody else. They had already made it to the campsite, and Will kept telling us, yeah, guys, it's right up there, and it felt like we were walking for hours. And finally, Mrs. Kuiper came out from ahead of the trail and was like, hey, guys, want us to take your packs? And it was amazing, because she took all of our backpacks, and we practically ran straight to the campsite. And it was beautiful. It was this giant, it looked like a giant crater, basically, in the mountains. And everyone ran down the hill, and we set up our tent really fast, and then we went down. They had this huge creek there. It was like knee-high, and it felt amazing. And everyone was just kind of dorking around, having fun. And then suddenly Will came, and he told us that there was actually a giant cave right around the bend. And so everybody went running over there. And the cave, it was like as tall as this building, and it was completely pitch black. And everybody was walking in. The water was ice cold, and it went all the way up to our thighs. I remember McKenna actually fell in and got her hoodie completely soaked. But once you walked in a bit, it got to this giant open area, and the sunlight was shining in. And there were rocks the size of giant trucks just falling on top of each other, and the sunlight, and it was just beautiful. I could have stayed there for days, but there was one huge rock right in the middle that everybody sat on, and we talked, and we played games, and we had fun. We stayed there for hours until it started getting dark, and Will told us we had to come back. But it was a really good experience, and I made a lot of friends, and I'm really glad that I got to go.
My favorite part of the trip would have to be all the cool sights we got to see, when we got to the tops of the mountains and we got to look over the skyline and see over everything and see all the trees and stuff. It was really cool. I could just see the beauty of nature, and it just really brought me to peace. The hiking was pretty good. I had fun. Some parts were challenging, but...
What parts were challenging?
The rain. The rain was pretty challenging.
Oh, yeah?
It got pretty cold during the rain, and...
What did you do?
Kind of got under some trees to try to take some cover, but pretty much just kept going through it.
Were you worried about it?
Not really, because I knew everything would be okay.
How did you know that?
There's just always somehow a way that things turn out.
Cool. Were there other challenges, physical or emotional?
There were maybe a few emotional challenges, just especially the first day when I was still getting used to all the hiking and stuff, but other than that, not very many.
What did you miss the most about home?
Probably like my dogs and my cat and my mom.
Now, I noticed that you would carry heavy things for the group, like the mac and cheese and you know, a couple other things that were like food supplies for the whole group. And then when those things got eaten, you would ask for more to carry.
Yeah, I did ask for more to carry just to be helpful, because I always try to make things easier for other people.
Well, that's awesome.
Thank you.
And that was awesome. So did you mind that some people were carrying more than others? And when you were, you know, when you were asking if you could carry more?
I did kind of mind, because the people that, like, I guess can carry a little bit more should, just to like help out with some of the people that were kind of a little bit more struggling.
Well, that's kind of a life lesson right there.
Yeah.
Were you surprised that we accomplished the whole thing?
A little bit. Yeah, I was kind of surprised that we accomplished the whole thing, but it was definitely worth it.
Yeah. And what happened when we got back to the campsite?
When we got back to the campsite, it started to pour down rain, which was definitely an interesting experience.
Yeah. Were you thinking we were going to camp anyway?
A little bit, yeah. I was thinking we were gonna camp, but luckily we didn't.
Yeah.
So.
Good. Any other thoughts about the hike or other things?
I'll definitely recommend it to other people too, because it was just a good way to refresh my mind and, I don't know, enjoy nature some more, not take it for granted.
I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. If I get drunk, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who gets drunk next to you. And if I haver, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's havering to you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. When I'm working, yes, I know I'm gonna be the man who's working hard for you. And when the money comes in for the work I do, I'll pass almost every penny on to you. When I come home, oh, I know I'm gonna be the man who comes back home to you. And if I broke, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who's growing over you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more to be a man who walks 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. When I'm lonely, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who's lonely without you. And when I'm dreaming, well, I know I'm gonna dream about the time when I'm with you. When I go out, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. And when I come home, yes, I know I'm gonna be the man who comes back home with you. I'm gonna be the man who's coming home with you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more to be the man who walks 1,000 miles to fall down at your door.
You know, I think one of the best things we do is share our stories. And I'm always just so moved by that, you know, somebody that's willing to share a personal and real part of their experience and the way that they've been touched with the community. I think that really builds us up. So thank you to all of you who did that. We really appreciate it. And it's meaningful. And these are some of the best trips that we've had. Tyler, our Faith Singers director, said this was the best tour he's ever been on. How many have you done? Like 8? 6. 6. And they went to cool places and they did cool things and they sang cool songs as always, but I think there was a real community aspect this year. There was a real bond in what they were doing together. Same thing on the mission trip. There was just this connection with each other that motivated them to serve in New Jersey. And we worked on 5 houses, which was more than SBP expected us to do, so they gave us more work. And we have this great connection with SBP. You know, they're so organized and they're so good to volunteers, and so we work so well together. The last night we had them over to where we were staying for a cookout, and then we played fly swatter hockey, and then we went to the beach all together, and it was like we just didn't want to leave each other. You know, we had done such, we had done such meaningful work, and so that was a real joy. And then we took 13 junior hires with 0 hiking experience. In fact, they hadn't been off the couch in a couple weeks. And we took them out, you know, hiking at 11,000, 12,000 feet. It's not the easiest hike in the world. And as Liz said, the way they came together, all of them, I mean, they were all together as one group, motivating each other and helping each other to accomplish this incredible challenge. So it was really neat to watch. You know, it was really neat to be a part of. And we come to this table, you know, which is a community thing. Jesus was all about community. He traveled around with a large group of people for 3 years, which is way longer than the Faith Singers tour. And we know he was annoyed because he would often go off by himself and pray. We don't know what he was praying for in those times, but he stuck with it. He stuck with the idea that community is really important. And so at his Last Supper with his best friends, he took bread. After he had given thanks, he broke it, and he said, "This is my body, which is broken for you. Do this together in remembrance of me." In the same way, he took the cup. After giving thanks, he said, "This is the new covenant in my blood. So as often as you drink this together, do it in remembrance of me." It's a new covenant. It's a covenant of community, and it's a covenant based on love and forgiveness. And you are all invited to participate in this communion, in this community. You don't have to be a member of Countryside. You don't have to adhere to a certain doctrine. If you feel moved, you come forward and receive this communion. If you don't want to participate, that's fine. If you want to participate from your seat, we have servers that will come. You just raise your hand. But if you do come forward, we ask that you take a piece of the bread, not too small, not too big, and you dip it in the cup. And as you take it in, you remember you are what you eat. You're part of this community. The gifts of God for the people of God. As the servers come forward, we remind ourselves of who we are and whose we are. We are an inclusive, open, and affirming family of faith, welcoming all to God's table of love and acceptance. We are diverse, yet united by Christ's example. We care for one another, support one another, and challenge one another to become all that God creates us to be. We work together to nurture our community and to promote peace and justice in our conflicted world.
The dawn is filled with dreams, so many dreams. Which one is mine? One must be right for me. Which dream of all the dreams? When there's a dream for every star, and there are oh, so many stars, so many stars. The wind is filled with songs, so many songs. Which one is mine? One must be right for me. Which song of all the songs? When there's a song for every star, and there are oh, so many stars, so many stars. Alone, the countless days, the endless nights that I have searched, so many eyes, so many hearts, so many smiles. Which one to choose, which way to go? How can I tell, how can I know? Out of oh, so many stars, so many stars. Alone, the countless days, the endless nights that I have searched, so many eyes, so many hearts, so many smiles. Which one to choose, which way to go? How can I tell, how can I know? Out of oh, so many stars, so many stars, so many stars. Ooh, so many stars.
God, we're just so thankful for all the great stories that we heard today of moments where you reached out and touched lives. You did it not only through your incredible creation and the ways that people are allowed to see just the creativity and majesty that you offer, but also through those community connections, the bonds of friendship, the mutual love for each other, which also inspires us to worship a loving God. We thank you for the opportunities. We thank you for the generosity of this church to send our students onto these experiences. We pray that these memories that were made over this summer would be cemented into these students' lives for the rest of their life. We thank you. Amen. Please stand as you are able.
Our Creator, ever present, hallowed be thy name, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive our debts as we forgive, and lead us in thy light. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory. Amen.
We reach out to our wider community through the box, basket, and journey. The Box. The Board of Christian Outreach is sponsoring a personal care items drive for the Child Saving Institute. Bring deodorant, toothpaste, hairbrush, razor, shampoo, washcloth, and things like that to the box through the month of August. The Basket, located at each of the exits to the sanctuary, the basket receives our morning financial offering. If you are a first-time visitor to Countryside, we want to give you a gift, which you may claim by identifying yourself as a first-time visitor to the pastor in the foyer. If you are not a first-time visitor, please consider supporting Countryside by making an offering. The Journey. Tri-Faith Picnic is our annual celebration of our partnership with the Jewish and Muslim brothers and sisters. Come and help us celebrate. You do not have to be a member of one of the 3 Tri-Faith congregations to attend. All are welcome. Invite a friend or neighbor to join you. Please consider bringing a potluck dish to share that serves about 20 people. Keeping our Muslim and Jewish brothers and sisters in mind, please do not include any pork, gelatin, or shellfish in your dish. This year's celebration will be held at Temple Israel on Sunday, August 12th at 12:30 p.m.
May the Spirit of the living God, made known to us most fully in Jesus Christ our Lord, go before you to show you the way, go above you to watch over you, go beneath you to uphold you and lift you up, go behind you to push you into places you may not necessarily go yourself. Go and dwell inside you, remind you that you are not alone, but you are loved, loved beyond your wildest imagination. And may the fire of God's blessing burn brightly upon you and within you, now and always. Amen.